He was bold, he was fearless, and he changed America forever. From the streets of New York to the wilderness of the American West, Theodore Roosevelt forged a legacy as one of the most dynamic leaders in U.S. history. A reformer, a trustbuster, an environmentalist. This is the story of a man who reshaped the modern presidency. Born on October 27, 1858, in New York City, Theodore Roosevelt was a sickly child plagued by severe asthma. But what he lacked in physical strength, he made up for in mental resilience. He committed himself to a life of the strenuous life, a belief that hard work, discipline, and purpose could overcome adversity. He attended Harvard University, where he excelled academically and developed a deep love for history, philosophy, and the outdoors. Tragedy struck in 1884 when he lost both his mother and wife on the same day. Grief-stricken, Roosevelt retreated to the Badlands of North Dakota, where he reinvented himself as a cowboy and rancher. Roosevelt began his political career as a New York State assemblyman. He quickly made a name for himself as a passionate reformer, taking on corruption in both parties. He served on the U.S. Civil Service Commission, where he fought for merit-based appointments, and later became New York City's police commissioner, reforming a notoriously corrupt force. In 1898, he resigned as Assistant Secretary of the Navy to form the Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry that gained fame in the Spanish-American War. His charge up San Juan Hill made him a national hero and catapulted him into the political spotlight. In 1900, he was elected vice president under William McKinley. But tragedy struck again. McKinley was assassinated in 1901, and at just 42 years old, Theodore Roosevelt became the youngest president in American history. As president, Roosevelt brought a new energy to the White House. He believed the presidency was a bully pulpit, a powerful platform to advocate for change, and he used it aggressively. The early 1900s were dominated by massive corporations and monopolies, trusts that stifled competition and abused workers. Roosevelt declared war on these monopolies. He used the Sherman Antitrust Act to sue powerful companies like Northern Securities, Standard Oil, and the American Tobacco Company. In total, his administration filed over 40 antitrust lawsuits, earning him the nickname Trustbuster. But Roosevelt wasn't anti-business. He believed in regulating capitalism, not destroying it. His goal was a square deal for the average American, fair treatment for workers, consumers, and corporations alike. Roosevelt championed progressive reforms. He supported the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act and the Meat Inspection Act after being horrified by Upton Sinclair's novel, The Jungle. These laws ensured food safety and consumer protections. He also sided with labor in the 1902 coal strike, a bold move for a sitting president. Rather than deploying troops, he brokered a deal between miners and owners, marking a turning point in labor rights. Education, child labor laws, railroad regulation. Roosevelt pushed America closer to a modern, just society. One of Roosevelt's most lasting legacies is his dedication to conservation. He loved nature, deeply influenced by his adventures in the Badlands and his friendship with naturalist John Muir. During his presidency, Roosevelt created 5 national parks, 18 national monuments, and 150 national forests, preserving over 230 million acres of public land. He established the U.S. Forest Service and became the first president to recognize the importance of protecting the environment for future generations. To Roosevelt, nature was not just beauty, it was the backbone of American identity. Roosevelt left office in 1909, but couldn't stay away from politics. In 1912, frustrated with his successor, William Howard Taft, he formed the Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party. Although he lost the election, his third-party campaign became one of the most successful in U.S. history. He continued to travel, write, and advocate for reform until his death in 1919. He was just 60 years old, but he had lived a life fuller than most could imagine. Theodore Roosevelt changed the presidency and the nation. He believed in action, in justice, in stewardship of the land. He showed that one person, with conviction and courage, could reshape history. As he once said, "Do what you can with what you have, where you are." And that's exactly what he did.